So today we're climbing two munros. This is Ben Bhreac to the south, and we've got Beinn Chaorainn to the north. So Beinn Chaorainn is the highest of the two, 1,082 metres, and it sits in the middle of the Northern Cairngorms. So to the west we've got Ben Macdui and Northern Cairngorm. To the north we've got the Cairngorm summit itself, and to the east we've got Beinn. So it's a very central location, but because these hills aren't quite as tall, they aren't visited quite so often. So we're starting at the Linn O Dee, and that's fairly close to Bhreac, about 10 minutes drive. And Bhreac itself is easily accessible from either Aberdeen to the east or Blairgowrie and Perth to the south. So we're going to head off onto the track and we're going to see what the route is like. So I'm here in Linn O Dee car park. So we're going to be doing a long approach in, and we'll be heading up to Derry Lodge. And I've got my bicycle here. So we'll cycle up to Derry Lodge and then beyond from there. Okay, so first things first is a footpath which then heads up to a main track. It's pretty good quality. There are a few steps and gates along the way, but it's relatively short in duration. And this time I've got a rucksack clip for my camera, so I can do my cycling with both hands on the handlebars, which is a lot easier. Okay, so now we emerge on the main track that heads up to Derry Lodge. So normally I walk this to climb, say, Northern Cairngorms for example, and it's a 6-hour day, but this time I'm doing two munros, so east of Northern Cairngorm. They're a bit more remote, so I therefore decided to bring my bicycle. I think that's a much better choice of transport. Okay, coming up to Derry Lodge, the weather's now starting to clear finally, so I might be able to see something scenic now instead of just pea soup fog. Here it is. So down here we've got the mountain body, Derry Lodge mountain body, and according to my map we should be turning right, and I'll see where that ends up. Okay, so here we go. So we'll head up this track. Hopefully it's good for hybrid bikes. We're now in the ancient woodland surrounding the Derry Lodge, and it will soon turn into open ground again, I'm sure. So now we've got our first views coming up this glen. So we're clear of the fog now, and it's now just bright blue skies. So that's how quick the transition takes. So we've got Ben Macdui just forward and to the left with the granite tors on the summit. So it's not much of a track, but it's certainly perfectly cyclable. So that's me deposited my bike. The rest of the footpath deteriorated, so out of the forest
It's just become a regular footpath, quite rough for my bike. And the track after Derry Lodge, it rapidly narrowed into a footpath. It was a good footpath, but lots of ditches instead of culverts. So I had to dismount every 50 metres or so. That was quite tedious. I just carried on pushing along until about maybe 200 metres of pushing my bike. And then I just decided this is the place to leave my bike and continue. Well, I'm now about midway up Glenderry, and if we have a look this way, so this is the footpath going up Glenderry, but the way I'm going is up this slope here, and that will get me access to the plateau that links the two munros together. So it's pretty rough ground here, I have to say, and there's a lot of clegs about, also known as horseflies. In my opinion, they're not as bad as the ones I've seen in Norway. The ones in Norway have yellow and black stripes on the back of them. They look just like wasps, a bit bigger, and they love to suck your blood, and they've got barbed fangs, for want of a better term, and they will leave a bit of blood behind when they decided they've had enough. And these ones don't seem to be as bad, but they are certainly annoying. So that's the second summit I'm going to be climbing. I'm very close to the mountain plateau, so I just thought I'd give one last view of the valley. So you've got Ben Macdui here, up here Loch Chaorainn, then we've got Ben Macdui with the snow, and then we have got Northern Cairngorms. I'm on the main plateau now, and we're coming up to Bhreac, and it's rough ground here. There's no footpaths which link the two munros together, so it's a pretty hard slogging. It was hard slogging going up. Very deep vegetation just off the footpath in the valley, gradually becoming a bit more cropped, but you know, not really sufficiently cropped. It's still quite hard work walking through all this stuff. So you can see Ben Macdui rising up above the clouds, which are now evaporating quite quickly. So now I've got to a bit of the plateau where the grass is a lot more cropped and it's a much easier piece of ground to walk on. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the route, rather than dreading it, up to Bhreac. Okay, so here I am, top of Bhreac. Let's have a look. Okay, so on the summit, zooming in, we've got Loch Nagar, still a little bit of cloud around. Then we've got the Glenshee summits, Ben Macdui, this one is Ben Brutton, Cairn, Ben Macdui, Ben Macdui, mountaintop I'm going to do next. I can't remember the name. And over here we have Ben Macdui. So it was a tough way up, that's for sure. Now I've looked at the map and there is a footpath which heads off to the Bhreac, and I'm going to follow it. You can let's go here. And here you can see the first scratches of it. So I will follow that and see if it gets me past the peat bogs. In fact, I can see a little bit over in the distance over there. Right, so lunch first, and then and then we'll hit the road again. So after coming off the first summit, Bhreac, we end up on this footpath here, and I don't think this is marked on the Ordnance Survey maps, but it's certainly marked on my View Ranger app, and so far it's looking okay, and I can see it in the distance on the other side of the saddle point. So this is the way to go between the two munros. So the path has basically run out. So now we've got this fairly tussocky grass to deal with. Still a bit of a distance to go until we get to the bottom of the final rise up to the summit. And the weather's very warm, even at this altitude of 850 meters. I'm dreading to think what the glens are going to be like later on this afternoon. Okay, so I'm now on the upper slopes of the second munro. If we just take a look around, go back to where we came from. So I reckon I'm about 10 to 15 minutes away. Dehydration is a bit of an issue for me today, so I'm a bit slow. Very close to the summit now, and the view's starting to emerge quite nicely. Definitely a boiling hot day. So I've got half a litre of water left, so it'll be replenishment in one of the many burns around here. Here we go. Haven't seen this one for 14 years. Same with the other one. Right. There's Bhreac. We've got Northern Cairngorms here. And we've got Ben Macdui. I think this is a fine angle to photograph Ben Macdui. I think it looks magnificent. And we've got Ben Macdui. We've got Cairngorm, Bhreac. Right in the distance we've got Ben Rinnes and Chaorainn Hill, and over in the distance I think we can even see Beinn. You can see a little bit of Beinn there, and then we've got Beinn. 14 years since I've seen this view. Now, for a relatively small munro in the Eastern Cairngorms, it's got a magnificent view to which is really worth coming up here a lot more often. Ben Macdui is in the background, and I think you can agree it's quite a complex mountain. It's got many folds and cliffs and ridges going off in many different directions. And the thing is that most people climb Ben Macdui from the Cairngorm Ski Centre car park. Very few people, on account of the distance, approach it from the Linn O Dee unless they're intending to camp out. So yes, this is a munro worth doing, and I certainly won't leave it 13 years next time. Okay, so it's a little bit steep. It's borderline scree, this stuff, any steeper, and I think ground wouldn't support growth of vegetation. quite loose stuff, but very close to the saddle point with Ben Macdui. So now I'm back on the main footpath. It's now going to be a case of finding a decent sized stream and replenishing my water bottles. I think this one could be a good candidate actually. Yes. Right, time to fill up water bottles. Okay, so back on my bicycle again and dealing with this section of footpath. It's something I want to take easy on the way down. We've got lots of ditches and they just encourage me to slow down to a point where I might have to get off the bike like that. Not particularly impressed with that kind of stuff. Right, getting close to the mountain body, and then it will be back onto a nice Land Rover track for the remaining distance back to my car. This time with a lot of good views to enjoy. So we turn left here. And we're back on the Land Rover track. The sunshine, this is more like it when it comes to riding. Lots of bits here where I can just simply freewheel. And given that my feet are really very sore, again, this is very, very welcome. Okay, so here's the last major bridge before the car park. Okay, so we're now approaching the turn off for the main car park. And here we are. So now we just follow this track all the way through. Okay, so now we are approaching the car park. And here we are. And then nice and easy back to my car. So thank you for accompanying me on my walk, and thank you for watching.